What's up, nerds? I'm McKinley, and today I am going to do a video on my most read authors. I've seen a few people do this. The first person I saw do it was Kristen over at Super Space Chick, and I was like curious to see who mine were, so I went to Goodreads, and under my books there's something on the left hand side where you can see your most read authors. Most of mine were comic book writers because they write so many, so I did not do those, but and a lot of them were wrong. Like, I don't know what they were counting, so I went through all of them to make sure the right numbers or whatever. And so I have 12 authors because there were 2 ties. So yeah, I'm going to start from number 10 and work my way to number 1. At number 10, I have 2 authors, and that's Sarah J. Maas, who I've read 9 books from. I have read 6 of the Throne of Glass books and all 3 of the Court of Thorns and Roses books. She's alright. I mean, I really like the Throne of Glass series. I liked the first 2 in ACOTAR, but I didn't really like the finale, so I don't know. I haven't read Tower of Dawn yet, but I'm going to. I'm probably going to wait until this last book's coming out and then reread the whole series. See if I still like it as much as I think I do, because I don't know. I hear everybody talking about the problems with it, and I just didn't pick up on them, so, and I think it's because I listened to them on audio. So I want to like physically read them and see if I pick up on more. And the other one that I've read 9 books from is Jason Reynolds, who I adore. I love him. I've talked about him on my channel before. He's an auto-buy author for me. I don't think any other YA author writing right now writes characters as well as Jason does. If you haven't read him, you need to, but I have read every book he has put out, including a poetry book he did with a friend that was really hard to find, but I was able to get it through an interlibrary loan. So yeah, I've read all of his books and I adore him. At number 9 is another tie, the first one being Maureen Johnson. I have read 11 of her books. I think I've read all of them except for the Shades of London series. And that also includes her helping write The Bane Chronicles and Tales from Shadowhunter Academy. So I've read 9 of her solo books and then 2 that she co-wrote. And, and the Let It Snow book that she did with Lauren and John. So I guess I've only read 8 of her solo books, but and the other one is Louise Renneson. May she rest in peace. She wrote the Georgia Nicholson series, and I read all 10 of those, and then I read 1 from her other series, and I didn't like it, so I didn't keep reading it. But if you never read those books, they are so hilarious. Like, they're just really quick, fun reads. Like, if you're feeling bummed, pick up one of those books, and you will be laughing and feeling good. At number 8, we have Sarah Shepard, and I have read 12 of her books. I read the first 12 books in the Pretty Little Liars series. I don't know how I made it to number 12, but they just get more ridiculous as you go on. And I read, so that I think every arc lasted 3 or 4 books. So I read till that arc that finishes in book number 12. And I was gonna finish, but then I just didn't, and I don't think I ever will. At number 7, we have Rick Riordan, who I love. I have read the Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Heroes of Olympus, and the Magnus Chase series. And Magnus Chase is my favorite, but I love all of them. I think Rick Riordan's writing is so funny, and I just enjoy reading them. It's a good time. At number 6, we have my favorite author of all time, Sarah Dessen, and I have read all of her books, which would be 13. I'm actually thinking about doing a video where I rank her books because I just reread all of them over the summer. And I kept track of my ratings and everything, so maybe that'll be coming soon. At number 5, I have Meg Cabot. I have read all of the Princess Diaries plus the adult sequel, so that's 11, and I've read the first 3 books in the spin-off series, which is Diaries from a Middle School Princess, I think, which is super cute, and I only read it to keep track of me and Michael. I'm just gonna be real honest with you, but that's why I read it. But they're cute, and they're fast. At number 4, we have Cassandra Clare, and I have read all of the Shadowhunter books, and I have read the first 3 of the Magisterium books. I actually currently have the 4th one out from the library, and yeah, that equals 16. At number 3, I have Nicholas Sparks, and I have read 18 of his books. I have read all of his fiction novels except for the most recent one. And yeah, I haven't read his nonfiction book yet. I used to love Nicholas Sparks so much, and then I kind of got older and I kind of got jaded, and his last book annoyed me so much that the last book I read of his annoyed me so much that I don't know if I'm going to continue to read him, because I'm kind of just, I normally don't stop liking things, but I don't know, like I'm just not that into the romance books anymore, especially if they're hetero. At number 2, I have, it's so funny that my top 3 are all adult authors when I read basically all YA now. But anywho, at number 2, I have Janet Ivanovich, and I have read 26 of the Stephanie Plum books. That includes, I think, 2 or 3 novellas, and I think I've read up to number 23, and then it kind of got repetitive. They're still fun, and I'm sure I'll catch up eventually, because I do want to know how it all ends, or maybe I'll just read the final book when it's announced, if I'll read that last one, because if I don't know if you've read those, but she's a hamster, and I just don't see how it's still alive 24 books later. So, and it started in 1994, so I don't even know how many years have elapsed in that world. Anywho, I digress. At number 1, I have read 70 books from this author, and that author is Sandra Brown. 70 books. 70 books. And I haven't even read all of her books. I haven't read her historical fiction books, and I haven't read her last like 4 or 5 thrillers, because they got formulaic and repetitive. And recently I decided I was going to catch up and read her last 4 or 5 thrillers, and then the mood left me. Right after I had checked them all out from the library, the mood was gone. But yeah, 70 books. I discovered her like when I was probably still in college, and I was just reading whatever my sister had, and she basically only reads romance, and I read one of Sandra Brown's books that I borrowed from her, and I really liked it, so then I kept borrowing whatever she had from Sandra Brown, and then I expanded, and I went on a mission to buy all of Sandra Brown's books, and I have since unhauled all of them but one, because I accepted that I was not going to reread them, and they were just taking up space. But yeah, 70 books. She used to write all romance, and now she writes thrillers, but she has some gems, for sure, but I don't know if they'd hold up to the thrillers that go on today, because I think her thrillers focus a lot on the romance aspect as well. So I don't know, she could be hit or miss for you guys if you like thrillers. But that's my list. That's my top 10/12 most read authors. Do you know who your most read author is? If you do, comment down below, or go to Goodreads and look it up, maybe. In all honesty, nah, I don't even think I've read 70 Babysitters Club books. It really is Sandra Brown. Sandra Brown was even higher than Robert Kirkman, who writes the Walking Dead comics. She was literally number 1. I've read so many of her books, and I haven't even read all of them. 70 books. It's crazy. But anywho, that's it for me, guys. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!